In many parts of the world, a girl's childhood ends the day she is born. For Aisha, that day came when she turned 15. Her story is not just one of hardship, but a powerful testament to the unbreakable human spirit. This is the story of a girl sold as a bride, who fought not only for her own freedom but for the future of countless others. Aisha's life, once filled with the simple joys of youth, took a sharp, dark turn. Her family, trapped in the crushing grip of poverty, saw only one way out. It was a choice no parent should ever have to make. They decided to marry her off to a man twice her age, a man who promised financial security. The price for this security was their daughter. She was sold, not celebrated. Traded, not cherished. At just 15, she became a wife. The wedding day was a blur of forced smiles and hollow rituals. The vibrant colors of the ceremony felt like a mockery, a bright costume for a tragedy. Aisha felt a cold dread settle in her stomach, a premonition of the life that awaited her. She was a child, stepping into a world she couldn't comprehend, a world that would soon become her prison. Her husband, a man whose name she had only recently learned, was a stranger. His home, her new reality. The promises of a better life quickly dissolved. The man who was supposed to be her protector became her tormentor. The abuse started subtly, a sharp word, a dismissive gesture. But soon, it escalated into a relentless storm of physical and emotional violence. Every day was a battle for survival. Her home was no longer a sanctuary but a cage, and her husband was the gatekeeper. She was isolated, cut off from her family, her friends, and the world she once knew. Loneliness became her constant companion. The four walls of her new home witnessed her silent tears and her hidden bruises. He controlled every aspect of her life, what she wore, what she ate, who she could speak to. She was his property, a possession to be used and abused. Her spirit, once so bright and full of dreams, began to dim. Hope felt like a distant memory, a forgotten language. She would look at her reflection and see a stranger staring back, her eyes empty, her youth stolen. The world outside went on, but for Aisha, time had stopped. But even in the deepest darkness, a single spark can ignite a fire. One day, Aisha overheard a conversation on a smuggled radio. It was a program about women's rights, about laws that protect girls from child marriage and domestic violence. For the first time in years, she felt something other than fear. She felt a flicker of hope. The words on the radio were like a lifeline, pulling her out of the despair that had consumed her. She learned she had rights. She learned she wasn't alone. This newfound knowledge became her secret weapon. Aisha began to educate herself in secret. She would listen to the radio with the volume turned down low, absorbing every word. She learned about organizations that could help, about shelters, and about legal aid. The idea of escape, once an impossible dream, started to take shape in her mind. It was a terrifying thought, but the alternative, a lifetime of abuse, was even more terrifying. The fear was still there, but now it was mixed with a powerful determination. Planning her escape was a dangerous game. One wrong move, one discovered secret, could have devastating consequences. She had to be meticulous, patient, and brave. She started saving tiny amounts of money, hiding it in a loose floorboard. She memorized phone numbers and addresses from the radio programs. Each small step was a victory, a reclamation of her own life. She was no longer just a victim. She was a strategist, a survivor preparing for her biggest fight. But Aisha's plan wasn't just for herself. During her rare supervised visits to the local market, she saw other young girls with the same haunted look in their eyes. She recognized the signs of abuse, the hidden pain behind their forced smiles. She knew she couldn't leave them behind. Her mission expanded. She had to do something to help them too. In whispers and secret meetings, she began to share what she had learned. In the guise of sharing recipes or mending clothes, she would pass on information about women's rights. She taught them that what was happening to them was wrong, that they deserved safety, respect, and a future. She would write down contact information for support groups on small scraps of paper, hiding them in baskets of vegetables. It was a huge risk, but seeing the spark of hope ignite in their eyes made it all worthwhile. She was creating a secret network of resistance, a quiet rebellion of girls who refused to be silent. The night of her escape was tense. The moon was hidden behind a thick blanket of clouds, providing the perfect cover. Her heart pounded in her chest, a frantic drumbeat of fear and adrenaline. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of the wind sounded like an alarm. With her small bag of saved money and a head full of forbidden knowledge, she slipped out of the house that had been her prison. She didn't look back. She ran, not just from her abuser, but towards a future she was determined to build for herself. Her journey to freedom was long and fraught with peril, but she finally reached a shelter, a safe haven run by one of the organizations she had heard about on the radio. For the first time in years, she could breathe. The women at the shelter listened to her story not with judgment, but with compassion and understanding. They provided her with food, a warm bed, and most importantly, a sense of safety. Here, she began the slow, painful process of healing. But Aisha's story doesn't end with her escape. She became a passionate advocate, a voice for the voiceless. She dedicated her life to fighting against child marriage and gender-based violence. She went back to school, finished her education, and eventually became a community leader. She uses her own experience to empower other young girls, teaching them about their rights and helping them find the courage to break free from the chains of abuse. Aisha's story is a powerful reminder that one person's courage can change the world. She turned her pain into power, her suffering into a source of strength. Her fight for freedom became a fight for the freedom of all girls who are forced into marriage, silenced by abuse, and stripped of their dreams. Her journey highlights the critical importance of education and access to information. It shows that when girls are aware of their rights, they can become agents of change in their own lives and communities. Aisha's story is a call to action for all of us. We must work to create a world where every girl can live free from fear, where her childhood is protected, and where her voice is heard. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence or is at risk of forced marriage, please know that help is available. There are organizations and hotlines dedicated to providing support, shelter, and legal assistance. You are not alone, and there's a path to safety. Thank you for listening to Aisha's incredible story. If her journey has moved you, please share this video to raise awareness about the realities of child marriage and gender-based violence. Subscribe for more stories that inspire and empower. Together, we can help build a better, safer future for girls everywhere.